No worries.
I call on the President of the United States to end this now. Mr. President, tear down these prison walls. Let our little boys have their father. Free Julian. Free the press. Free us all. Thank you.
I want to thank the lawyers for their work in bringing this about, which is quite extraordinary, I am told, on this level of the Magistrate Court. I am concerned that instantly upon giving her decision, the lawyers for the US government indicated they would appeal the decision. They should not. And there should be a call out and pressure on the US side to drop the appeal, to say enough is enough. We've had enough of this. We have plenty to deal with in this new year, but not this. So, as Stella said, I want to say thank you to all the supporters. Many of you are here today. I want to say thank you to all the organizations and the media, and the editors that have stepped to the plate and have actually started to support Julian's cause, especially in the last few weeks and months. But let's be cautious in our celebration, in our victory celebration, because the fight is not over. As Stella said, it will be not over until Julian can go home and be with her and the boys. Thank you.
Okay, welcome everyone to this Anonymous Bites Back special. We will be covering the Assange bail hearing of today. As you guys know, if we get lucky, I guess, he will walk out today on bail. The lawyers applied for bail after extradition was stopped. What was that? The extradition was stopped by the judge Monday for medical reasons. After that, the lawyers of Assange pretty much said they want to apply for bail, so he can get out right away. Because in the decision of the judge, it says that he is supposed to be discharged. Of course, the United States went into appeal right away, but the lawyers can apply for bail now. So we will await what happens today, and we will give you live updates of everything as it comes in. We have Il Cattivo, Rico, and we have AK with us. We expect more to come in, and we are at the end of the bail hearing. We have Taylor Hudak bringing us updates. She would jump on with us too. let's see. I was trying to reach out to Deepa too, but she says she doesn't have any connection inside there. She's not allowed to take a phone with her, or not even a drink. I'm not sure if I will be able to call her too. We'll try anyway. But yeah, well, keep listening, and you'll get all the updates. We will get everything like within seconds for you, and please help to share this around. That's what we depend on. Go ahead, guys.
Hello, everybody. So
Hello. Good morning.
We're watching all kinds of Twitter handles and video feed from outside the courtroom. We'll try to update you on the stuff that we see happening from all over the world. I'm in the Netherlands. Where are you guys?
You're raising from Italy.
I think there's a bit of a delay there, Mark, between everybody. What server are we on?
Let me see. It's set to Europe, so you will have a little lag, AK. I'm not sure if we can change that. But okay, so mind a little lag. Can you repeat again, like Il Cativo, where you're from?
Yes, good morning, everybody. Thanks for inviting me again here, speaking about the Assange trial, the show trial, and I'm from Italy.
Yeah, Enrico and myself are from the Netherlands, and yeah, AK, you can.
I am in the U.S. and it is right now 5 a.m. And I am very dedicated to seeing Assange walk free, and let's hope that that's what it is, and this is all over, and that we can all celebrate. Because it's been long. What has it been, like 2-3 years now? For fighting for getting him out of jail, and then it's been like a decade for everything that's been going on with Assange and imprisonment inside the embassy. And wow, man, today's the big day.
Yeah, exactly. So in 8 minutes, the hearing should start, and the update should be rolling in, right? In the meantime, we'll keep you occupied with our opinions about everything, right? So help. We have a YouTube stream up too, guys. Like if you want to chat or like have anything to say that we should mention on air, use the YouTube stream, because there is the an easy to use chat. Like the Periscope thing, we aren't really watching the chat. It's just for the stream. Use the YouTube. It's posted below the stream. Otherwise, visit it on youtube.com/anonymousworldwide. You'll find it there too. And please remember to share this around. I see a lot of viewers are jumping in. So yeah.
Why does it take 2 days for a bail hearing to be set? Do you know?
That's a good question. I know that the last time they were still discussing the costs of everything. Yeah,
Depends on how big they are too.
Yeah,
But
Given time to speak with the USA masters to know which are the new orders.
well, technically it's really fast actually. I mean, yeah, they scheduled a new hearing, and it is within 2 days, right? So that is pretty fast, like 48 hours. I mean, technically he is released on Monday already. I mean, it is in the verdict. It says he is to be discharged, meaning he's free. Now, yeah, the U.S. goes into appeal, of course. So then the lawyers say, like, yeah, we want a quick hearing to have him apply for bail, and so he can walk out.
Well, they straight up lied in court. The U.S. straight up lied in court, saying that Assange was negligent, and I mean, like, he literally called the State Department and said, "I've redacted all of these documents, but somebody else has a copy, and I'm worried they're going to release it. You know, like, that's not negligence. Like, that's journalism. That's, you know, he went through the process of redacting every single document that was released in the Afghan and Iraq war logs, right? So they can't say that he didn't do his due diligence. So what are they going to appeal?
Oh, the appeal is going to be that the United States appeal is going to be giving guarantees about a proper prison facility that will not allow Assange to take his own life.
Exactly. Yeah. They will just promise to give him a 5-star hotel instead of a prison to make sure that the judge decide to say yes to the extradition. This is what I fear more. I just fear it's just a game to clean up the face of UK in front of all of this, because if they say no to the extradition is like to shut all the human rights associations and collectives that are shouting out and protesting in this moment. So UK will pass like the good one that is taking care about Assange rights and Assange health, but at the same time they do a favor to the USA because they accepted all the accusations. And this is a huge problem for journalism all over the world. In this case, if they just wait a few days and the USA appeal, they can just say, okay, we change our mind, we decide to change the destination, we decide to change how we will treat the level of security we will treat Assange. They will keep the man guarded 24 hours a day because there is the risk of suicide. And so with this kind of safety net, probably the judge can change her mind. And I hope I'm really very wrong on this.
Yeah, I hope you're very wrong on it too. And I mean, the thing is, like, how is the U.S. going to argue, oh, our prisons will be okay? I mean, like, they have Guantanamo Bay. You know, Guantanamo Bay is one of the worst prisons in history where they tortured inmates. I mean, and I think that the lawyers for Assange would argue that as well. I mean, this is ridiculous if they really are going to appeal it and say, oh, no, we'll treat him good. We'll give him a fair trial, all this other stuff. Because, you know, obviously they're not going to give him a fair trial. They're going to put him in front of a military tribunal, which is not a fair trial. You know, as a CIA whistleblower, oh man, it's early. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. As John Kiriakou said, you know, like he said that if they put him in front of a trial, it's going to be a military tribunal in Virginia.
Okay, yeah, and in the US he would be put into special administrative measures, meaning that is kind of solitary confinement, and that solitary confinement to a level that you are not even allowed to communicate with family unless you inform them 2 weeks before you do it, so an FBI agent can listen in on the calls, right? And it would be completely solitary, but this is used against terrorists and stuff usually, that any contact with people, with other people is deemed dangerous. So the judge ruled against extradition because the judge said, yeah, he has signs of an autistic spectrum disorder, otherwise also known as Asperger's, and referred to the Lori Law versus United States case, and said he is determined to take his life. This has been confirmed by 2 doctors, and she pointed towards the fact that he already made up his will, his testament in prison, and he also asked for absolution by a Catholic priest who visits Belmarsh. So very serious.
Yeah, man,
yeah, very serious.
that is rough.
I was reading now on the YouTube chat that Evie is saying that Fitzgerald, that is the accused from USA, was strongly steered by Bareitzer, the judge, toward waiting a couple of days until he could have the full bail application ready in good order, with all the supporting documentation. I had a strong impression that Bareitzer was minded to grant bail and wanted the decision to be fireproof. This is heavy writing words from Craig Murray on the YouTube chat in this moment.
Wow.
Okay, we should be starting by around now, so the update should be coming in soon. Stay tuned.
Fair enough, but Monday they started like 15 or half an hour late also.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll just stay on up.
5 minutes ago, Taylor just tweeted that we are now viewing an area sectioned off by plexiglass. Presumably, this is where Julian Assange will be seated, so they're preparing. Another interesting point is made tonight, the last night, by Juan Passarelli, that is the video maker, official video maker from WikiLeaks. And he was saying that it was not so optimistic, because they say it will be a long day today, and probably they will take more time, probably the USA. They will try to make it longer possible to avoid the release on bail today. So even if the decision is to release Julian, probably Juan said that is not today the day.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely side with that as well. I don't think that he's going to just walk out. But, if he does, I mean, it'd be a good time to celebrate it, because it's been hell for him for such a long time. All for doing journalism. Like, and that's insane.
Yeah, so I talked with Juan Passarelli. I invited him to on our show, and he's going to come soon. Obviously, he doesn't have time today. I mean, he's got a lot of work to do, but we will have a full show with him very soon.
Okay.
The thing that Stefania Maurizi sent out through her tweet, an article that she wrote, I think she wrote, is that an exclusive document obtained by this author after lengthy FOIA litigation in the United Kingdom allows revealing that the Swedish authorities considered tactics to extradite him to Sweden before he could appeal to the European Court of Human Rights. So this was instigated by the United States. So through secret channels, the United States pushed the other country, Sweden here, to not allow Assange to appeal to European Court of Human Rights. Now what Stefania says is, will the United States try use similar tactics here? So on the background, try to avoid bail being set or release.
Yeah. I think they are going to find any shortcut, legal shortcut, any kind of legal tricks to make it last longer possible, to avoid the release on bail, or to make it later possible, and to make it more difficult possible to apply, to appeal to the Human Rights Court.
Well, you got to remember Palantir and H.B. Gary and Barrico. They had a document where they literally said that we're going to take Assange and drag him around from country to country facing charges for the next 10 years. That was their plan. And, I mean, it kind of looks like that's what is unfolding right now. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope that they just concede defeat and let this go, and because this is such a precedent for journalism in general. It's not just Julian. It's going to be such a precedent for all journalists worldwide, and it's a crazy case. And like going back to that document, I always just think of that.
If you think one of the things that Judge Bareitzer said the other day, on Monday morning, she said an example that is normal. She accepted that is normal that the USA spying on Julian Assange inside the embassy. That this is a huge, terrific precedent for all the journalism all over the world. How it can be possible to be spied and is legal to be spied. How can a person to prepare for the court, for the hearings, knowing that someone of the accusation is listening, is controlling continuously 24 hours on 24 hours on video and audio, and the judge say that this is right? So this means that every journalism all over the world can be spied on by the USA. They have the right to spy on you, even if you are preparing to go on the court with them.
Also, like you just said about the embassy, I mean, like a judge saying that and saying it's okay for a foreign country to spy when somebody's inside an embassy where they applied for asylum, that's another crazy precedent. Wow.
So I just heard that Rebecca Vincent from RSF is having problems again getting into court. Just a quick update.
Another shame that adding to all the rest of the shameless things that you doing.
Yeah.
Not just the freedom of press that's at stake. It's also the rule of law, and that's what the judge did Monday by not releasing Assange because of a mistrial, because of the hearing and the listening in on him in the Ecuadorian embassy. So the rule of law is client, lawyer confidentiality, and all those things are out the window already. So even more than freedom of press, it's the law that's been eradicated here.
They just tricked every international law, every treaty about human rights. They are going over everything. They're stepping up on everything. Because if you think about, they are taking a lot of advantage naturally about the COVID restriction. So if you push away all the supporters, if you put a lot of limits on the visibility of this case by keeping out Reporters Sans Frontières like Rebecca Vincent and all the other independent media and journalists outside the court because they want to hide the things for COVID restriction. So why you don't get out Julian Assange from the jail because he's encircled by person that tested positive from COVID? So it's all a short trial. It's just a short trial. Because if you really care about the COVID restriction and things, Julian Assange should be already outside with his family months and months ago. Okay. At the same time, they take care about COVID restriction just for the people they want.
Okay, we just get the update that Julian Assange has entered the courthouse, right? You can see it in our Discord server.
Also, Tristan Kirk says on Twitter, "We're assured a sound check has been conducted and there won't be any sound difficulties this time." So that's something. If it's true.
Wonder why they have sound difficulties every fucking time.
Yeah, but this is I was asking myself even in September in front of the court, how is this possible in 2020? Such a big court in UK, and you have problem to access the video link for the audio and things. I can have them in my studio, but not you in UK in the most important hearings in the history, really.
Well, you got to understand that the U.S. is just committing more crimes and just interfering in the trial. But you got you remember when the feed got hacked and all that other stuff that happened? There's been so much that has happened during this whole trial, and the thing is, I don't know if Assange did that or if it was the U.S. government doing it, but it covered over important information in the trial. So whoever did it, they either purposely hid information or inadvertently hid information.
Yeah. But it is.
Hearing begins. Assange is in court. Claire Dobbin, prosecutor, starts hearing with objecting to bail.
Yes. Saying Assange gone to extraordinary lengths to avoid extradition. That's incredible. What the USA accusation are saying is every time more terrible, more incredible, really. It's unbelievable sometimes just to read what they are saying. Incredible.
It does seem the other prosecutor is stepping down. I read that yesterday in an article that the other prosecutor is stepping down, and he's not sure if the new administration will continue prosecution of Assange. So it was a positive thing that I read.
New presidential administration in the United States.
Yeah, he wasn't sure if there will be if they will continue prosecution because he is stepping down and he is the main prosecutor, and the new one assigned, he's not sure if that one will do the same.
Now Juan Passarelli is tweeting, the court will hear arguments against bail first, and Claire Dobbin say, the High Court can overturn the conviction, the court must, it disappear, the court can overturn the conviction, the court must be careful not to render the result academic. So it's like, if I understand well, they say, whatever you are doing, we can appeal again. And be careful about what you are doing. This is really incredible. How they act so arrogant in a way like we are doing whatever we want.
Yeah, but the thing is, there is now like a result, and because that result exists, it stays until it is overturned again. So, in that sense, he should be able to await the next steps in freedom on bail, at least.
Yeah,
that should legally be possible. So I hope that will happen today.
Since the judge said that there are health issues to refuse the extradition because there is a risk of suicide, probably for the same exactly reason, they will take care to have the man guarded 24 hours a day. I'm sure they will find a way to, with the excuse to protect him, naturally, to limit his freedom again. I really want to hope I'm wrong again, but when we talk about the Assange case, I will never ever trust anything that UK and US say.
The video feed from the courtroom to journalists. Tristan Kirk is watching that, and someone has just asked on that video feed, on the chat. I'm assuming that's the video feed and that's a chat. And someone asked who the lawyers are, and another person helpfully replied, they have now been forcibly shut down by the feed operator who insisted the chat is for technical queries only. For what reason, I have no idea. Tristan Kirk just tweeted that.
Okay, and Mary Kostakidis says she already lost the sound. That is one of the...
Taylor tweeting now, Claire Dobbin on behalf of the US government is citing Assange helping Snowden seek refugee.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they are really trying to climbing the mirrors, we say in Italy, translated directly from Italian, because really they are trying every kind of tricks, attaching to every single commas and every single things to keep smearing this man and make it pass like he's a criminal, make it pass like he have done something wrong, even if the defense destroyed already everything on last September. So really. About following live, I think, guys, I want to warmly advise to follow Stefania Maurizi on Twitter, tweeting live, Taylor Hudak, Richard Medhurst, there's Courage Foundation, there is Mohamed Helmazi, another independent journalist, Mary Kostakidis. There are many. We can just write for you the names on the chat if you want to follow live updates from the court.
Make updates in the chat, that would be a good idea.
And of course, Kevin Gossola just saying, Dublin says Assange engaged in distraction operations to obstruct the USA manhunt for Snowden. As a WikiLeaks associate, helped Snowden transit from Hong Kong.
Wait, what? They're saying that he participated in distraction operations? What?
Yeah, literally.
That's their new argument. Okay.
I can't understand why not just the media, that it's a full shame, but not even the judge never taken in consideration what is inside the things that Assange and WikiLeaks reveal. Why nobody from the media and why nobody from the legal system never asked a single time to you say why you have done war crimes? Because there are the proofs of this. So everybody is asking tons of questions to Julian Assange, and nobody is asking the real war criminals where they are, why they have done what they have did.
Yeah, I mean, so the judge is ruling on extradition and on bail. So fair enough. Maybe right now you shouldn't go into the war crimes committed by U.S. The underlying situation. However, then you also should not allow the United States to make the point that WikiLeaks may have helped Snowden. Snowden was not jumping bail. He was not arrested. He was not facing extradition. This was just an individual being a whistleblower. So that's totally unrelated to whatever court proceedings are happening now. So that cannot be brought before the judge in the bail hearing.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Snowden did it in a legal way. He contacted like the bigger media in the U.S. and tried to like disseminate the information through them. So in that sense, he also did his journalistic job. Yeah.
The USA is suggesting Assange has the resource and the intent to flee the country. Reference Mexican president offering political asylum to Assange upon denial of his extradition. Says there are countries sympathetic to Mr. Assange. They are damn scared, guys. This is what I feel.
Stefania Maria said, tremendously interesting to see how U.S. Counsel just confirmed that WikiLeaks' original plans was to help Snowden to get protection in Latin America.
U.S. government cites Mexico offering asylum and says governments that are sympathetic. U.S. government cites Mexico offering asylum and says governments are sympathetic to Assange. Taylor Hudak tweeted that out, so she's watching the stream for the case. So, you know, the U.S. government is trying to pull at every string that they possibly can. That's what we're seeing.
And not just that, they're not threatening journalists, they're threatening countries now. Hey, make attention, don't do this. That's what they're saying.
By the way, in some way, the fact that I feel that USA is quite scared by losing the situation is make me a lot very happy and more optimistic than yesterday, in example. Because all these pulling inside Snowden and all the facts, and all the fact they are scared about the fact that he can flee away in a country that give him a place. They are scared. US, the big power, the dark power we are fighting for in this moment, they are scared, guys.
It's very interesting to see what arguments they're kind of putting forth, because before, you know, we were talking about it, like this is what they're going to do.
So let me understand what Kevin Costola just said. I read his tweet now. Dobbin says Assange was willing to live in Ecuador embassy for 7 years, which was detrimental to his health. The court can't believe he will take this chance on outcome of appellate process. But I believe what is said here is that United States makes the point that if you release Assange on bail, he might go for asylum again, and they would put that forth to deny bail. Is that what I'm reading?
Yes, it's incredible.
So the right
don't give bail because he's going to escape. This is what they are saying.
Not escape. That's not the point. They make. Request political asylum. So they're trying to deny bail because he otherwise would request political asylum. But that in all international treaties, requesting asylum is of a higher.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They are denying every international law, every human rights treaty. They don't give a damn flying fuck about all the rights the human have all over the world. This is what should make the people jump on the streets and start to shout everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just bewildered by the U.S.'s just arguments. Like, it's like, Mexico is offering him asylum and they're sympathetic to him. Okay, and like,
Yeah, so obviously you can't grant him bail because on that argument. Taylor Udeck just summarized that and says, US Gov is grasping at straws to make his case.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not a question if a country and is sympathetic or not with Assange. It's a question of law, international law. It's not about what you like or what you don't like. USA should understand this. It's not about what you like or the people like. You sign international laws. Maybe they want to come out of every kind of human rights treaty and every kind of international treat. But this is another historical point in this case.
yeah,
Well, yeah, you said that with reference to United States, but more than that, it's United Kingdom that has to obey their rules and their treaties here.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the fact that UK until now they just behave like they are the harm of USA. They didn't get the finger inside the case. They just reading what the USA say to read, saying and doing what the USA asked to do. This is the first time from last Monday that we see UK taking an independent decision. If it's
yeah. I see what you're saying by that, and I definitely agree. I mean, throughout this whole case, it's been the before this judge, the old judge was basically parroting like everything the U.S. said. It was basically being parroted back. So yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from saying that, and the U.S. is now arguing that Assange is a flight risk, and saying that he could jump bail, like if he was freed, and they're citing Snowden as basically evidence for, he could pull a Snowden and go to another country and get asylum. I mean that's just ridiculous. And if he did, I mean that's his right as a human being to get political asylum, and asylum is there for to get away from like oppressive governments.
Guys, now Dobbin from USA accusation say Mr. Assange regard himself as above the law and they will stop at nothing to avoid facing the law. You have to say this to USA, Dan. Where are the war criminals? Why you keep saying that Julian Assange will stop at nothing to avoid facing the law? USA are doing everything to avoid the law. They are doing everything to avoid the people all over the world understand that they are doing war crimes all over.
Yeah, so they're literally stating that Assange views himself as above the law. Like, are you kidding me? Like, he's a journalist and he's in jail for being a journalist. And they have and this is literally about releasing a collateral murder and all these files where you can see war crimes being committed in front of us. Like, we can see it with our own eyes. We see people being killed there, civilians and 2 Reuters journalists being killed in front of us.
But the ironic thing is that they're saying that Assange views himself as above the law, but really, it's the U.S. that views itself as above the law, because guess what? The UK already just ruled that they wouldn't extradite Assange. And, it's so fucking frustrating, man.
How about we try to look at it from the United States perspective? So let's look at it like this. Like 30 years or over 30 years ago, the United States started following the Wolfowitz Doctrine, which said we're the one superpower and we'd like to stay that way. Well, if you follow that doctrine, you lost already not getting Snowden, and over the last 10 years, however bad Assange has been treated, they still don't have him for 10 years even. So that Wolfowitz doctrine that they're following, it's been failing for the last 10 years.
And they are just saying, I'm reading the updates from live from the court. Someone was saying that the judge, the accusation from USA is mentioning the fact that staying in the embassy has cost a lot to taxpayers. They are also talking about the cost of these things. They are really scared as hell that this man is going free somewhere else, like in another embassy, like in another country that give him political asylum. And they are citing even the costs for this. That should be up on the USA, all this cost, not the UK taxpayer. And in first place, UK should not allow USA to do whatever they want and pay in their place. But if we go deep, we know where they take the money to pay all this.
Yeah, there's an update here. The U.S. government says there's no sufficient amount of assurance that Assange would attend an appeal if he was let free on bail.
What I feel is that USA is feeling that this man is sliding from their hands. and this pisses them off a lot. This is why they are trying to cite every single comma and citing every single thing like the cost, like Snowden, pulling inside Snowden, all these kind of things that have nothing for real to do with the point of the situation.
Right. Yeah, they're just grasping at straws, as Taylor Hudak said. That's exactly what's going on here. It's just point after point, like, that has nothing to do with the current situation at hand.
This is one really saying that this is really incredible. Dobbin from USA say Mr. Assange regard himself as above the law, and so suggests that if Assange is willing to kill himself, he is more likely to escape.
Yeah.
What?
This is incredible.
The US government also states that there is no sufficient amount of assurance that Assange would attend an appeal. Failing to recognize the breach of bail violation was because he had asylum, is what Taylor
So,
said.
just going back to what was just said, I mean, so the U.S. would rather have him kill himself than be free? Like,
They are just stating that we want this man death. This is the translation about everything they are saying. This
Absolutely.
Everybody's understanding this at this point.
Right? Yeah. That's the way I took it when you said it. I was like, wait, what? Did they literally just say that? Like, so you, instead of having him free, you want him to be dead from suicide? Like, what the fuck is that?
We all remember who said, "Can we drone him? Can we kill him? Can we send a drone?" They said this.
Right.
This is the evidence. It's not an opinion. It's a fact that Hillary Clinton said this.
Right. Yeah, that was also said by a number of politicians, and Trump himself also said that he would give Assange the death penalty years ago before he was president. So I mean, like,
I think talking more in general, what is I see very dangerous about the public opinion is how the people can forget so easily and quickly everything, and this allow the mainstream media to change their mind and what they say on a daily basis. So today they say the sun is yellow, and tomorrow they say the sun is black, and the people keep trusting them.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but there's a big update here. Dobbins says it's not up to the court to protect the prisoner's health. What?
You understand?
What is this?
That's why the people disappear when they end up in USA jail. They are not just tortured; they are killed, and they just disappear. Nobody know nothing.
It is always up to the court to protect the health of accused people. That is part of the law. Human rights are part of the law. That is one. That is exactly what a lawsuit is about. You have pros and cons, but you can't just forget about human rights of people. So that is just a false statement. It is not how it works. Otherwise, everyone could just be rounded up and put against a wall and shot. That's not how it works.
I'm gonna leave you for a few minutes, and I'll be back soon, guys.
Okay, but just in that argument that was made about who is responsible for protecting the prisoners, what was said apparently is that under United Kingdom law, that falls under the Ministry of Health. So technically, that might be right. No?
Yeah, but when a judge makes decisions, it needs to also the judge also needs to remember the rights a person has, and like that includes health rights. If he and that's exactly like Monday when that the judge ruled against the extradition. It was out of protecting his health, right? And yeah, you're right. I mean, it falls under the Ministry of Health, but I mean, it goes both ways. And I mean, protecting people is just as important as the other side of the story, right? I mean, yeah, they're all part of it. The judge has the end decision, so needs to account for health issues and these things too. I noticed that the hashtags on Assange and all these things are not trending this time, so it was interesting to see. If you guys are listening and if you actually wanna make it happen, post on the hashtags Assange, we are all Assange case, and spread the truth about this. I mean, it's not hard to make a simple tweet about this.
I agree that we should do that, and we should continue to do that as long as we're on Twitter. However, I also noticed that when a hearing like Monday comes up or today comes up, Twitter decides about delisting hashtags or not auto-completing them. So you can't trust Twitter on showing what's trending or not.
Or just deleting accounts and suspending accounts and everything else that's been going on for the past fucking 2 years. Unity for J getting shut down, key trial dates. I mean, like, suspending my account multiple fucking times over the last 2-3 years. I mean, like, Mark having his account shadow banned, other accounts being shadow banned. It's so ridiculous what these guys are going to the length to prevent any type of information coming out of this trial.
Yeah, I got the free shadow bans all the time without doing anything breaching terms of service. So it is really an honor.
Apparently, protesting and caring about someone's human rights is breaching terms of service.
Okay, I'm going to get a drink real fast. Can you guys just mention the updates as you see them? Should be updated.
Yeah, I have one right now. Judge Barrister tells Dobbins she does not need to go into detail on the grounds in which the U.S. government will appeal. Judge says this is not necessary during a bail hearing. Oh, shit. Hey, this could be going in his favor. I mean, like, it looks like the U.S. is kind of revealing all cards right now and not doing a very good job.
Yeah, to summarize, what the United States is doing currently is summing up why they don't agree with the ruling this Monday. And the judge says, well, I understand that you don't agree with that, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about setting bail here, so it has nothing to do with that. That could be in Assange's favor, indeed.
Yeah, exactly. Because they are saying, in example, that it's impossible for someone to commit suicide in the condition Mr. Assange will be held. Of course, if you crucify this man, you can't do nothing, because we know how we will torture the people there.
basically what we're doing here is waiting for the United States to finish their little list of points, and then we get the defense to respond to that. You think?
I'm not sure about that. It's a good question because the judge never give a lot of space apart the one that is given by law. Is never given any space. Even when they shot Assange, when he tried to defend himself and things, they were very, very following strictly the rules and things. So I don't know if in this case they will allow the defense to answer.
I assume not. I assume the judge will break for a while and then come to a conclusion, or will that take another couple of days, maybe?
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Dublin ends her submission saying there are insurmountable circumstances to stop bail. Yeah, for sure. Really. This just make me think they are scared. They are trying everything at the last moment to keep their hands on Assange.
Oh God! The United States Council questioned Julian Assange's family life. Assange and his partner Stella Morris have never lived together. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been lost last 10 years. So the United States is making that point because they're trying to say that his children and partner should not weigh in convincing court he won't assault. So now the defense takes the word Edward Fitzgerald. Assange attorney lays out the case for bail. So now the bail case has been made.
So the position of the the accusation from the USA, Dobbin say that we argued that Mr. Assange's mental health was not as severe as suggested by experts called by the defense. They intend to continue with this position, by the way. But it is not a very strong point at this point of the hearings from USA, I think, to repeat again, we don't trust what the defense say about the medical condition and the health of Julian Assange.
I think the defense lawyer is a fucking idiot and clown. That's my opinion. Like, holy shit! Like these arguments. I mean, wow.
Yeah, there is no strong argument from the USA in this moment.
Assange's family is free to follow him to the U.S. if extradited. Is that saying that you're going to, like, what do you mean? Oh, what? Like, are you going to go after his family too? Like, what's going on here? Like, what the hell does that mean?
Yeah, just a reminder that he would be put in SAMs and it would be impossible to even communicate with them. It's kind of a sad story that they make it out like that.
It's super sad that a lawyer can go in front and say that. Like, what fucking went wrong with you? Like, what?
Okay.
How can you just say that about somebody's family? Like, what if that was your family? Like, that's insane.
Okay, Smyra asks us if we could fill us in, people in on our opinions. What do you guys think about the timing of the UK's announcement of this decision? It's not so long after Brexit. Do you think there's something to do with the EU as well?
Just to clarify, you mean why we're having this discussion, having this hearing early January?
Yeah, around Brexit or shortly after.
Timing.
Feel it has to do with United States presidential elections.
And with the Brexit, right? With politics.
I think it's the sum of the things, because in this moment is in the interest of UK is to maintain a certain behavior with Europe. And Europe, we know that there are human rights treaty and all the rest. We know that Niels Melzer keeps saying every day that USA are not following the rules, international law, and human rights treaty. So I think for them, even on the commercial side, to pass like the terrorists that don't care about human rights and treat political prisoner like this is not even good as a promotion for UK as a country against Europe, since you are no more inside Europe and you have to deal with them commercially and all the rest. Is not a good spot for UK if they treat in the worst of the way like they have done till now Julian Assange.
I like the thought process that it might be tied into Brexit, as the UK, in a legal sense, has to choose sides now who they're befriending after Brexit. They've lost the European Union. They have to re-establish ties. Are they still going to go with the European line, or are they going to be more independent? Dare they make a statement on Assange that goes against the United States now that they're outside of EU? Maybe something like that.
They want to keep a friendly link with USA, of course, and also with Europe, even they are outside. They want to feel like they still be there as friends, even if they are outside, even after the Brexit. But if you want to stay there as friends, you can't continue to show the world that you don't give a fuck about the human rights. That's the thing. So they want to create a certain situation to appear more clean to the public.
Sorry for interrupting. The defense is saying that a U.S. prosecutor has said that it's unclear whether or not the Biden administration will continue with the prosecution as its argument for one of the arguments against the U.S. So, yeah, that's very interesting. So the incoming administration, it's so far unclear if they're going to continue the prosecution against Julian.
How is that an argument in a bail hearing?
That's Julian's defense making that argument for having him to walk free.
Yeah, so that was said like a day ago by the prosecutor that he would be stepping down. He's not sure if the new one is going to proceed with the prosecution because it's a new administration. It's unclear. Makes sense they mention it, but yeah, what does it have to do with the bail hearing? Yeah, the judge already said he's supposed to walk free, so right now it makes sense that they ask to do that on bail, and the USA will argue that there is a risk that he will never show up for an appeal. The other side will argue that.
Well, they also argued that Assange has been detained for 15 months since October 2019. Technically longer than that if you count the asylum in Ecuador, I'm sorry, not Ecuador, the Ecuadorian asylum in London. But, they're saying that he was detained for 15 months since October 2019 on the basis of an extradition request, and in October 2019, the bail sentence expired. He was held on remand for a long period of time, and then they're saying that it's unclear even if this is going to continue, so he should be released.
Fitzgerald from the defense say that judgment recognized the importance of human interaction about his mental health. And the defense answered that the worsening COVID crisis has restricted Julian Assange's ability to have contact with his family.
Yeah.
I think they will give the bail, by the way.
And
maybe not today.
One crucial thing the defense now also said is that Julian Assange has every reason to stay in this jurisdiction, given the judge's decision. The reasons for absconding previously no longer apply, and that's correct. because the judge ruled in his favor, so he has no reason to,
Exactly.
run away or whatever. So that's a good thing the defense said. And they also said the court has given the decision, and the decision is that Julian Assange should be discharged. So, yeah.
I just like how the U.S. said that it's impossible for someone to commit suicide in the conditions that Mr. Assange will be held in. Are those the same conditions that you held Jeffrey Epstein in? Because
Actually, the judge mentioned that. Actually, the judge mentioned the Epstein example, by the way.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good.
Yeah, in the decision, the judge said when someone is determined to commit suicide in the United States, it will happen no matter what they do, and they can't protect them. And so that's also she said that Julian Assange was determined to commit suicide, and there was a serious risk of it, and the U.S. would not be able to protect him. So that's the health risk. Yeah.
It looks like at the moment inside the court they are arguing about the number of people with COVID inside the prison. There is a tweet from DIA, Don't Extradite Assange campaign, that say U.S. prosecution says that only 3 people in the prison have COVID, and the defense answer that is false, and more people in the prison are getting COVID every day.
That's the other strain, the stronger strain, because it's in the UK. And Boris Johnson just recently closed down the country again. So.
Okay.
Well, on a side, I can even agree that you should prevent the spread, but I'm quite sure that everywhere in the world, and this moment we're talking about UK and the Assange case, naturally, the government is taking a lot of advantage about the restriction to play their games in favor of USA or not, by the way.
Something Stefania Morici just said is, they're talking about COVID, coronavirus in prison, and how that may play a part in the decision today. But she says, as a journalist, I was denied access to data on statistics on COVID in UK prisons.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's an argument without any substance. Then, if you start.
Yeah, because it's like the COVID issue is for everybody, apart Julian Assange. Because even Richard Meadows now say the judge wants clarification on the figures. They are trying to get the latest. The defense say over 90 people have tested positive in the House Block 1. This info came from Assange. And Belmarsh confirmed 60 cases officially before Christmas. And the judge say this is contrary to our informations.
Mary Costa Kittis says that over 90 people have had COVID. Belmarsh confirms 60 have had it, but 90 tested positive.
Yeah.
The person who has the paperwork has not been allowed into the courtroom.
That is just an excuse, and I want to take the moment to send a big hug to Calvin. Calvin is the guy on Twitter as Lul Inspector. Is the guy that everybody have seen in the live from the court shouting so loud about free Assange. He's a part of the London team Assange, and yesterday has been taken and has been targeted personally and taken away from the court. And we all have seen a lot of people there in front. We all have seen the journalists packing in front of the door of the court. We all have seen the people cheering up after the end of the hearings of the result. And Calvin was not there because the police escorted him away from the place. So they are really targeting someone and people of the supporter, part of the supporters, to make it difficult to follow the things.
Police keep harassing those waiting outside the Old Bailey as inside the judge listens to the prosecutor, listing all the reasons the U.S. can think of to keep Assange imprisoned. Is there no end to the pressure the state wants to bring to bear? LaFleur Productions on Twitter.
Yeah, the judge about the numbers of COVID inside Belmarsh, the judge say that she's going to accept what Belmarsh says rather than what the defense says. Yeah, we are talking about stupid things in my point of view, because what's the point to talk about 60% positive to COVID or 90% positive to COVID? It's not based on this kind of number, the result of the day about the hearing.
I got a question. Can you hear this if I play this?
Have also not been allowed in. So once again, another barrier. Nothing has been normal about this case all along. Normally we access these proceedings by queuing very early for the public gallery, but today again I should have been allowed in on this list. So what could happen this morning is various scenarios. We are waiting to see whether the judge will release him on bail or whether she will keep him detained throughout the appeals process. We feel that it would be extremely harsh for him to keep him detained, given the severe mental health issues that she outlined on Monday. If those are grounds for extradition, or if those are grounds to prevent extradition, rather, they are also grounds for his release. So we have called for his immediate release all along, and now the court has an opportunity to do that today. So the decision on Monday was a relief. We reacted to it with relief because, of course, Mr. Assange should not be extradited to the U.S. But we were really concerned with the substance of the decision, which leaves the door open for further persecutions of journalists, publishers, or sources on similar grounds. The underpinning issues here really have to be addressed before this is allowed to happen to anybody else. So we'll be back with a comment after we find out what happens here. I've been asked several times for my inclination. I would say, honestly, 50-50. Again, it would be very harsh for the judge to keep him detained, but there's police now starting to try to move people along. They've been more relaxed this morning than they were on Monday. This is London Met Police today, not City of London. The other day, the aggression was from City of London Police. So far, it's been okay, but they're starting to request that people move on. So, in any case, in terms of the prospects, anything can happen. This judge has at times been very harsh. Okay, okay.
All right, that was Rebecca Vincent, and she's the RSF human rights campaigner for press freedom. So she was just saying how she was prevented to enter the court, as we said earlier. I just wanted to make sure everybody was able to hear that. Did you hear that audio fine?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I could play more audio just off my phone. I wasn't sure how that would sound. So that's her update.
Okay.
Yeah, Assange defense Fitzgerald say that the main thrust of our submission is that the court ruling is detailed, it's evidence-based, and it comes from your decision and evaluation of the case. Yeah, exactly. That's where we were saying before that is not useful, and it is not the moment for the accusation from USA to repeat that is not good what the judge decide. The judge already decided. So if you want, you just made the appeal. It's not now the moment to take back like there is still the hearings. The hearings ends in some way, and the judge take a decision. So. And the Assange defense mentioned Lori Love.
So Dobbins said that Assange's mental health is not as severe as the picture the mental health experts painted. But what? You're not a mental health expert. How would you? Has the U.S. sent in mental health experts to examine Assange? If they did, I'm unaware. I mean, these arguments, man, like, whew.
The judge already decided, based on the evidence bring by the defense, by doctors, by person that study all their life about these kind of things. So, and the judge accepted, and that's why she decided to say no to extradition. So the fact that you say keep going about these kind of things make me think more that they are just think that they are losing. They are losing the case. So.
Oh, wait do you hear this one? This is a great argument from the U.S., which makes no sense, by the way, because the timeline for all this is like way off. Assange and his partner started a family so he could avoid extradition. They had never lived together. What?
Yeah, but that's just a statement you can't make. That has no grounds. So.
It has no grounds at all. Like what is like?
They want to put upside down the reality. Is what they do on a daily basis. So, and they are trying in this moment in front of everybody. Maybe they were hoping that there were not so many people listening and watching. But as we keep saying in all our tweet storm in the last months, all the world is watching and listening. And Julian Assange has never ever be alone in this. The world is watching, the world is aware about what's going on there. More and more every day. And now we are getting the momentum. So they can't keep saying the opposite of reality in front of the world. Because in this moment the world is understanding that USA is just saying bullshit. Sorry, but that's what it is.
U.S. prosecution, it doesn't matter how bad COVID is in Belmarsh. That's a matter for the prison and the NHS, not the courts. Don't extradite Assange, the defense account for Julian. Like, these arguments are just so ridiculous.
Kevin Gossola is just tweeting Fitzgerald, that is from Assange Defense, proposed conditions for home confinement with partner Stella Morris and his 2 children. Assange wished to live sheltered life with family to address provided to court. That's correct.
Defense cites Lori Love case and Lori being discharged on bail.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's correct, and the case is similar in that sense.
Right, and the defense mentions that as well, saying that the Lori Love case shares similarities to the Assange case.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to remind everybody that it's still important to get Julian free and to meet back his family and stay in a safe place with his family and his dears. But in the same time, is a very terrific moment for the journalism all over, because in this moment, anybody that reveal war crimes or some corruption act by the USA is going to risk the same kind of travel and stay in a safe place. Because if you see, they try everything to keep this man hidden from the public, tortured, and all the rest. So in this moment, nothing changed about that. They are saying that anybody who will do this will receive the same kind of treatment. You have to arrive to the point that you want to commit suicide. You lose your mind. You have chronic depression and things like that to arrive to risk to be free again, because it's considered a risk by USA. The thing that Julian is be free again. So it's a very terrific moment for the journalism of treatment.
U.S. Defense says to the judge, consider that Assange will be placed under real-time surveillance wearing a GPS tag to monitor his location, among other assurances to say that he'll be safe and that he won't commit suicide.
Okay, getting some reports in that our Periscope might be having trouble. If you were dealing with that too, I mean, it works fine here, but then use the YouTube link. That works too. But it works fine here, so try refresh or something. I don't know
Correction. That what I just read was actually from Assange's defense and not from the U.S. I am severely tired, so I'm going to make mistakes like that, and I'll catch them as we go.
You are doing this from the United States at like 6 a.m., right?
Yeah, it's six on the dot. How did you do that? It's interesting.
Well, I'm going to make a joke here. An hour ago, you said it was 5. Thing is, this afternoon you're doing something about your presidential election. So, are you going to catch any sleep before that, or?
The whole thing that's going on with the Trump protesters in D.C. Is that what you're talking about? Probably not going to see that, but that's probably going to be pretty fucking crazy. I've already seen some violence coming out of it already, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to get pretty wild.
Okay, so the defense says that him avoiding bail was 8 years ago, and the situation is very different now, because this is now he can unite with his family, and that is essential to his health, says the psychiatrist. And they say Assange's mental health condition is alleviated by the support of his family, and would be disproportionate to deny him his liberty.
And Mohamed El-Mazi is just tweeting the court. It is speaking with the words of the defense of Assange. The court can and should consider human rights and humanitarian grounds for granting bail, including his current health, physical and mental state. Fitzgerald argues. He adds that denying Assange's liberty at this time would be inconsistent with proper human rights considerations. Yeah, the defense of Assange is pushing on the human rights issues, and the USA is denying this problem. Yeah, and they are mentioning also the fact that Assange is already served his time for bail violation. So, if you consider even the human rights and the situation of health of Julian Assange, there is no point to keep him in jail.
Right. Christine Assange says, note, Snowden docs revealed U.S. secretly asked allies to charge Julian with something after WikiLeaks docs revealed U.S. war crimes. 10 days later, Swedish police, not women, made rape allegations against Julian to the media. Julian was detained 6 years without charge. And that's true that a lot of people fail to realize is that it was the police, and the documents from that case show it. It was the police who made the rape allegations, not the women at first.
Okay, guys, I want to give a quick shout out to Steve and Josh and the other guys from Slow News Day show and Action for Assange. I know they also gave us a shout out, but that's not the real reason. I mean, I know they're in DC and they're working hard to give attention to this case, and they've been working hard for a long time on this. And just give them a quick shout out. They're on YouTube, Slow News Day show, and
yeah, big shout out to Action for Assange guys, Steve and the others. Yes, well.
Yeah, no, I just read they also mentioned us, and I'm very grateful for that. We've been working together for a while on things, so yeah.
Prosecution says they got an email from Belmarsh last night. These are the official figures of COVID positive cases according to Belmarsh from December 24th. They're saying that there is directly employed 80 plus cases and prisoners only 3. I mean, does anybody believe those numbers? Come on.
But it's really the point. It reminds me when in September they were arguing about such a small details about the health issues of Assange. No, he's feeling a little bit better. No, he's not feeling a little bit better. All these kind of things. And the moment we are in front of the most important event of the free press and things, because we are in front of a country that, despite any law, they commit war crimes. And we're still speaking about the number of people that tested COVID inside the prison when he's detained, Julian Assange, even if he's an honest, multi-awarded journalist. This is incredible. Speaking about if they are 60, they are 90, they are 3, they are 4. What's the point? He revealed war crimes that nobody denied until now.
Defense also cites Gary McKinnon case, saying that he remains safe in the UK jurisdiction and elsewhere the Americans could get them.
Yeah,
I think that's a typo, but yeah.
Yeah, so the Gary McKinnon case, that was before Laurie Love case. There was a hacker who supposedly hacked into NASA and the US military and was arrested for it. He was also dealing with Asperger's, autism disorder, and extradition was also denied for him under that, for medical reasons. And Laurie Love later on was connected to the defense for Gary McKinnon too. He also has an Asperger's, and also the extradition was denied. And in this case, again, we're dealing with a similar situation. Someone who is heavily depressed, has suicidal tendencies, and is dealing with Asperger's and autistic disorder. So, yeah. It can be much different now, and the only difference is that this is already a lower judge confirming this, while in the other 2 cases it had to go to a high court to do it.
Right. And I hope they don't fucking try that, because that'll just be... Oh, man.
Well, in UK law, but also in European law in general, it is courtesy for judges to respect other judges' decisions, unless there is like a serious reason to change that. But normally they respect each other's decisions. I mean, there is already a ruling that exists for other cases with Asperger's, and that rules against extradition. So this judge in that sense had her hands tied, unless there would be a serious difference in the case, and there isn't. So
At the moment, in the court,
10-minute break
they
now.
take 10 minutes break, yes. They want to allow the defense of Assange Fitzgerald to take instruction from Garrett Pierce, that is Assange solicitor, because they want to reply to the objection raised by Claire Dobbin about the fact that he can go in Mexico for asylum. And Fitzgerald before answered how on earth he would get to Mexico. That is correct.
okay, so this is a 10-minute break then.
Honestly, Mexico is way too close to the U.S. Fuck that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that is a safe place at this point.
There was a debate even during this night about people asking where is the safest place where Julian Assange would go for political asylum, and it's a very good question, because if you look around, USA already have hands all over, so it's not easy to find a safe place, a place that you can consider safe for Julian Assange at this moment.
I mean, he's pissed off every government in the world. I mean,
It just demonstrates that every government in the world is committing war crimes. They have hands in corruption all over, and
money laundering, all of that.
And all the media are a fraud.
Yeah, so Switzerland did offer him a medical asylum. That's something, and in that sense, Iceland might be an option, but Iceland doesn't really have an army to protect him if they really want him. But legally, Iceland seems to be a good place. Kristin Hrafnsson is there.
I thought first about Iceland. In my mind, from my point of view, it should be almost logic, natural. But maybe I'm not aware about many other details, so maybe it's not even good to go in Iceland.
No.
Well, Iceland, the U.S. tried to get to him before in Iceland. So, I mean...
Okay, guys, so there is a short break now. 10 minutes, they say, right?
Yeah. You want to put on some music or something for 10 minutes, then come back?
I don't know, time flies so fast with us always.
Also, music will kill your YouTube stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can pick up
He won't go after us,
So I'm surprised that it all went like this. I didn't expect the outcome on Monday at all. Like we were expecting the worst, and then the judge suddenly ruled in favor of Assange for medical reasons, and that's why we're.
Well,
seeing it
her
now.
comments during this whole thing today, it kind of alludes that she's not going to change her mind, and that like some of the comments that were made by the judge, it kind of paints a picture that it looks like it's partially over. So I mean, like, we'll have to see. But thus far, the comments that I've read that supposedly the judges said, it looks that way. Unless she's just playing a part, but who knows?
I think on a strategic point of view, on the USA point of view, they can at this point only take more time, and this is the most of the precious of the things for them. Take more time, keeping him still in jail in Belmarsh, guarded, without the possibility to see lawyer, without the possibility to see the family, to keep him tortured in some way, in many ways.
Right. Yeah, it's just delaying tactics. That's what it kind of seems like to me too, with all the arguments that they've brought up this or brought up
The
today.
only thing is if this is the only things they can attach to, really, I don't see a big luck for USA. And luckily, I see a good outcome for Julian Assange.
Do you guys think we see a ruling today, though?
Yeah, I feel that the accusation, the USA will find a way to delay things. They will find some legal tricks to make things be delayed and delayed again. As Juan Passarelli was saying tonight, it's gonna be a long day tomorrow, he said.
Yeah.
And so it's like they think that the USA will find a way to delay the things, just to delay the fact that there is no reason the judge should refuse to release Julian on bail.
Right. Yeah, like he said, and like we've kind of witnessed today, it seems like they're just throwing everything that they can and seeing what sticks. You know, they're just delaying it, and I don't think we'll see a verdict today. I think that this will just keep on dragging on as long as the U.S. can make it go until the judge is going to make a decision. I could be wrong though. I don't know.
Well, as I said before, we have no reason to trust USA or even UK in some way, even if the judge refused the extradition. But nobody of us is trusting. So we all have reasons to have suspects about what's going on in the next hours.
Recess for 10 minutes now was for defense to be able to say something. Did I get it right?
What did you say, Rico? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What was the reason that we're now in recess for 10 minutes?
Just a break. That's all that was said. I tried to look up that myself, and all I saw was people saying that there's a break.
Yeah, I see that the court adjourned for 10 minutes so that Fitzgerald can take instructions from Garrett Pierce, that is Assange solicitor, and reply to objections raised by Claire Dobbin for USA.
Okay, I didn't
These
see
10
that.
minutes, basically the defense of Julian Assange is talking and giving each other instructions.
Yeah, so basically giving defense to talk amongst themselves to determine how to address what the United States brought forth.
All right, and we are back. The case is now ongoing again. The defense says it's clear Assange is safer staying in the UK and has protections with the High Court, the European Court, etc. This is where he has the protection of the rule of law.
You gotta love the defense team for making those statements. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, up to now we haven't seen much of those protections, but yeah. Except for maybe the Monday ruling, but for the rest, no, he hasn't been treated well. In the UK.
No, but what's right is that there's no rule of law at all in the United States.
No, yeah, that is yeah. Okay, I can't deny that either.
Right? Yeah, that's literally what they're saying.
Assange Defense is tweeting now, back from recess, Fitzgerald notes reports on Mexico have been overstated. The comments were about going through proper channels to look into asylum, not about its embassy. Says Assange is safest in UK. The judge's ruling shows this is where he has protection of the rule of law. What looks incredible again to me is how we spend the last 10, 15, 20 minutes just talking about Mexico.
Yeah, they really love Mexico.
Yeah, it was the Mexican government that offered him asylum, right? I mean, they did that publicly.
Yeah, and what's very interesting is that that's the same country where X is for asylum, right?
Yeah, Commander X has asylum in Mexico too. Yeah.
Right. Just connecting dots there. That's all.
Well, he made statements about that before, right? He would work on those things. Yeah.
The defense concludes its arguments, asking judge to release Assange on bail. So the defense just finished, I think.
Okay.
And closing the argument of the defense, the Assange defense, Fitzgerald is saying the court will be aware that even people suspected of terrorism can be put on house arrest with system of monitoring with tags. Of course, this case is many, many miles from that.
That's a really good point too. Is that they're treating him like way worse than they would treat a terrorist.
Exactly. This was Kevin Gostola tweeting. So please, guys that are listening us, follow Kevin Gostola. This is an amazing independent journalist doing a great job about Assange and many other issues.
You can follow him on Twitter on K Gostola, KGOSZTOLA.
After citing the comparing to terrorist situation, Fitzgerald is closing saying, apart from that, he has the benefit of the court's discharge. So I ask for this reason to be granted bail on conditions. And so now the judge is giving a ruling, is delivering her decision in this moment to the judge. So we are very curious about.
Also, judge says Assange was a fugitive from UK justice, which is not fact. I mean, he got asylum. That's not when you're a fugitive.
Yes.
Yeah, that's insanity. Again, that's like pushing against future people getting asylum. They're now going to call asylees fugitives? Like, what?
That's what she just did, yes.
Yeah.
Is updating. The judge starts giving her judgment. She recites the history of Assange being arrested, detained, granted bail, and then absconding whilst on bail despite a significant amount of money put up as security. Let's go on. Let's see if there are other updates. If you see, guys. Yeah, the judge is going on all over the whole history of the Assange case in this moment.
Okay. So
I mean, it's clear. Go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
No, I'm saying so we can expect the ruling any second now. Then, like I mean, this first like the introduction into the ruling.
You think so?
U.S. has already lodged its appeal.
Yeah, Yeah, we knew they would appeal anyway, but yeah, the thing is, can he await this appeal in freedom or being still locked up? If he's still locked up, yeah, then nothing much will change. It will be another 2-3 years of him in a dark hole.
The judge say Mr. Assange, became a fugitive to this court in 2012 with similar conditions as those asked for today. He did this to avoid extradition to the USA. The USA has already logged the appeal. The outcome of this appeal was not yet won.
That's bullshit. He avoided a scam being extradited to Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Judge Bereitzer says, arguing that Mr. Assange still has an incentive to abscond. The US must be allowed to appeal, she said.
Oh boy.
Oh, it does seem we are the only shows in existence. Steve is in the chat here now, saying like we're the only shows in existence covering this live.
Tell him just to bring on his two people then.
Well, he can jump on. They can jump on with us. There's no problem.
The judge looks like is saying that UK prison are better than US prison. So I don't wanna go too much forward, but it's like she's saying that she preferred to keep him in Burma.
Right, yeah, that they're gonna keep him in prison? Like, what the
judge
fuck?
has denied Julian Assange bail. Now from Don't Extradite Assange campaign, the official account on Twitter, it's just tweeted 7 seconds ago, the judge has denied Julian Assange bail.
Oh my god, so it will be another 2.5 years of waiting with him in prison.
Oh,
The
Jesus.
conditions at Belmarsh bear no resemblance to those I found he would be put under in the United States. Reviews prosecution argument on Snowden asylum, updated COVID numbers. Yeah. Judge rules to keep Assange in custody.
Jesus Christ, man.
Well, this is still the strategy. This demonstrates that UK still act like the arm of USA. So they just want to clean up their face, saying no to the extradition from the human rights, to keep quiet all the human rights collective that are protesting all over. But at the same time, they are just serving Julian Assange in a silver plate to USA, even without the extradition. They keep following everything USA would like to be done in UK.
Okay, so to summarize what happened earlier today, prosecution is stepping down, and a new administration in the US might not instate a new prosecutor, so that might still be a reason for charges to be dropped. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And then another thing is we have outgoing President Trump, incoming President. Well, no, maybe, but some people are putting their hopes on Trump making a statement on Assange's behalf to drop charges altogether. So that is also still in the cards, right?
It is until January, I think it's 19th, with the new inauguration. Or no, I'm sorry, January 20th, the new inauguration. So yeah, it's still in the cards, but it's looking less likely unless he does it last few days of his presidency. I don't know.
Yeah, Kevin is just tweeting, Kevin Gossola, yet again, when it comes to Snowden, this is an example of the judge fully adopting the US government's narrative of events. It was the State Department that revoked Snowden's passport and left him stuck in Russia. He was not traveling there. Yeah, by the way, yes, UK is still following all the US government narrative. That's what I was saying before.
Yeah, that's true. Snowden, I think, was traveling to Brazil, if I remember correctly. And he was in transit in Russia, and they revoked his passport, and he couldn't continue traveling, and they left him basically in exile in a country without a citizenship.
It's just keep lying and lying and lying. So Assange taken out of the dock by court officers, where he will be taken back to the cells before being transported back to London Belmarsh. That's how the day is going to end, I think.
Yeah, there's nothing more to say about that. That's fucking insanity. Really gave a good, quick decision there. I thought it would draw out for a few hours, but nope.
And also, the argument of the judge, basically the main argument was, hey, Assange, you jumped bail requesting asylum, so you're not going to get bail this time, right?
Yeah, exactly, is what I understand. Stefania Maurizi is now tweeting, look, we have to face this abhorrent truth. We live in democracies where Blackwater war criminals are free, as they are, and the journalists like Julian Assange who expose the war crime risk dying in a high security prison. These are our institutions.
Very accurate.
Stefania Maurizi, investigative journalist from Italy. You can follow her on Twitter and S Maurizi.
Yeah.
She had at the end of last summer, on 2020, she had to leave the mainstream newspaper where she was working because she had no possibility to speak about the Assange case. So that's why she is independent now and she can continue to do a great job. But this demonstrates how even in Italy, like everywhere else, it's impossible to say the truth about the media.
As for Republica, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was in contact with her. I wanted to do another interview with her, and she said, I'm under huge editorial pressure back at the time, so that makes sense now. I didn't catch her stepping away from Republica after that.
I think she can't say that for many reasons, but there are other people that can say that. Because as we see Repubblica and the other main newspapers in Italy, nobody's talking about this case. Even yesterday night, I have to correct many articles about journalists in Italy that keep talking about Assange like the Australian hacker. You understand, he was 18 years old when he was doing those things. He became famous all over the world to be a journalist. And he received so many prizes, a full list of prizes for journalism. And there's still newspaper and journalists calling Assange an Australian hacker. This is like they want to create a narrative that make him appear like a dangerous person.
Hey, so we have Taylor jumping on. If you unmute yourself, you can just talk.
Okay. Yes, so I was just covering the hearing remotely. I had remote access, and unfortunately, the judge has denied this bail application. Obviously, this comes as a huge disappointment. We were really hoping that she would grant this bail. She did put in her previous ruling that we heard on Monday, where she denied the extradition request, that Assange was to be discharged. However, her reasons for denying the bail is that she is siding with the prosecution because she says that because Assange had a history of absconding, which means skipping bail, that he is likely to abscond again. She says that the U.S. government has the right to appeal and to have this case heard in a higher court, and that she cannot guarantee that will happen if Assange is set free today, because she believes again that he is likely to abscond, when in reality that idea is really not a great argument in my opinion, because during this time when Assange absconded, he was actually seeking asylum at the time. So it is a real disappointment here, and it's not the outcome that I actually expected.
Outside of law, I mean, seeking asylum is of more importance, of a higher right than the right of the United States to seek appeal.
Exactly. The European courts, I think, are expected to honor when somebody is seeking asylum. So the defense did say, though, that the conditions today are far different than they were at the time that he so-called absconded the court. And arguments that were put forward by the defense were the fact that COVID-19 in a prison is far more easily spread, and Assange has a chronic lung condition. I don't think that fact was mentioned today, but he does have a chronic lung condition, which puts him at a greater risk of having a very negative reaction to the disease. And obviously within a prison system, you don't have the best health care, and you're in very close quarters with other people. So the defense was arguing he would be a lot safer if he were to be at home with his family. He would have an ankle bracelet. He would actually be less safe if he were to leave the UK, because the US would be able to arrest him in other countries. He actually has a protection of of several courts, European courts, if he stays in the UK. So it wouldn't even make sense for him to leave. And the judge or the prosecution also mentioned this asylum offer that was presented by Mexico. However, that will only go into effect once the appeals process has concluded.
Yeah, and the defense also argued that now, because the judge ruled in his favor and that he can unite with his family, the situation is totally different. He doesn't have a reason to leave the UK because the judge ruled in his favor.
Exactly.
I was just going to say, I'm laughing at their arguments this whole entire time. Like, they've made so many ridiculous arguments, and a lot of it has nothing to do with bail. I mean, bring up Snowden has nothing to do with bail. I mean, he helped Snowden escape. What?
That was bizarre, and that was a fact that was mentioned in the second superseding indictment, which should have not even been incorporated into this jurisdiction, because it was about a year late, I think over a year late. But yeah, because WikiLeaks was able to successfully help Snowden seek refuge, that was a reason for the judge to feel that Assange would abscond. Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, as I said, a huge disappointment here. Another fact that the defense brought up was that Assange being able to spend time with his family, that is very essential to his mental health. And he's unable to spend time with his family right now because the UK is on a lockdown. And that means, of course, that Belmarsh is on a lockdown. And so there's no prison visits. Stella Morris, his fiance, said that she hasn't seen him. She and the boys have not seen Assange in several months. The last time she saw him, I think, was in October. So this idea that he could spend time with his family while he's still in prison is ridiculous. Now, there was reference to Lori Love's case and Gary McKinnon's case, which I thought was a really strong point on behalf of the defense, where they stated that, well, these two other individuals were released on bail. I believe Gary McKinnon was. I'm not 100% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But I know Lori Love was. And Lori Love was able to properly prepare his defense, and he didn't abscond. And the cases are very similar. And both of them would be at a risk if they fled the UK. So the same thing applies in this case as well. But the judge sided with the US on this one.
So in this moment, I'm watching the live from Ruptilai, and I see Jill, that is a wonderful woman that is part of the Team Assange London, is arguing with the police. They are still harassing all the supporters, and I also read they were harassing Eric. We all know very well Eric, and it's really incredible. In this
Yeah, I
moment,
mean,
I see Jill still very upset and arguing in front of the face of a policeman. Really, it's incredible.
But we saw earlier that the police put their hands in front of I can't remember her name now. Rebecca. What's her last name? I am tired.
Rebecca Vincent.
Vincent.
Yeah, Rebecca
Vincent.
Yeah, thank
has
you.
had trouble accessing the hearing. RSF has had difficulties accessing the hearings. I think she was even listed as a family member. She is not a family member,
Right.
but they listed her as a family member, and she wasn't allowed. Even his own family, his actual blood relatives, were not able to gain access to the courtroom. I mean, open justice has been completely disregarded in this case. It's been very difficult to cover the hearings. As somebody who's been listening on these video link conference calls, it's been very difficult to even make out a lot of what the judge and the attorneys are saying. So it hasn't been easy to cover this, and they're using, in my opinion, COVID as an excuse as to not let people in the courtroom. And they're also harassing protesters, which is a whole other issue.
Yeah.
They won't allow protests. They won't allow anybody to show their support for Assange under the guise of, it's COVID regulations and COVID safety, as if the police and the government cares about people's health and well-being.
They just arrested Jill. It's live on Rupti Live. I'll just send the link. In this moment, they are taking away Jill. They just arrested her. This is incredible.
That's insane. Like, how oppressive are these people? And they're doing it openly now, right? They're showing everyone that they're doing it, and it is truly
It's
a
a
fear
police
campaign.
state.
Yeah, but it is a fear campaign against journalists, against activists, against all of us, just to like demotivate us and scare us into doing anything. It is insane.
We're standing up for human rights. That's what the that's what the kicker in this is. It's like, what is this is crazy.
Oh, this is Eric. I'm watching on the live. There is a woman speaking with him, and there is still the police around harassing. Oh my God.
So if you just tuned in, the judge denied the bail for Assange, so he's going to be locked up again and awaiting the appeal, which can take years. So for his situation, not much will change. He will be taken back to Belmarsh and again dealing with health problems, and the psychological torture. It will all continue like nothing happened, even though a judge ruled in his favor now. Now our only hope can be now that the prosecution will drop this case when the new US administration gets into power. Now, if we know anything about what this administration, the new administration people have said in the past, yeah, that kind of reduces our hope too, because we have Biden who called him a cyber terrorist in the past in interviews, and we have others in that administration calling for saying like drone him. So we're not sure if that's going to happen, but the prosecutor did say that he's going to be replaced soon, and he wasn't sure that the new one would continue with it. But yeah, go ahead.
They just arrested another supporter. They're taking away another supporter. This is incredible. This makes me lose my temper, really.
Yeah, they're just going to keep on arresting people. They're probably telling people to clear the area right now. That's probably what's going on.
Yeah, for the same reason, if you really take care about the COVID restriction, just leave Julian free. If you really care about the COVID restriction, for the same exact reason, let him stay with his family. It's safer. No, they just decide to arrest the supporter. This is targeting the people, honest people that is peacefully protesting. They are arresting Eric in this moment. In this moment, they are arresting Eric. Yes.
What? He's 92 years old.
They
Not
are,
that
they
like
are
means anything. I can't believe this. Oh my God,
Yes.
that is so upsetting to me. I saw
Yes,
him. He was out there
exactly.
every day. He's a fragile old man. What the hell?
Yes, they're they're
These-
put it in
oh my
chain.
God.
There are two policemen on the side of Eric. There is a lot of camera around, so I think everybody in the world will see this.
I can give you the audio if you like.
Yeah, if you want.
Can you do that, Mark?
Years old. He's 92. He's 92.
We're gonna look after him.
Have you no respect? He's not.
This is fascism. This is fascism, guys.
You absolute fascist scum! He's gonna die. You're gonna kill him. He's 92 years old.
Other supporter and even journalists trying to stop the police, but there is a army. There is a full army of police for a 92 years old man, peaceful man. This is fascism.
Out of the way now! Step back! What is wrong with you people? Don't you have any rules? Out the way, please! Thank you very much! He's 92 years old. He's gonna fucking die!
He's trying to not be pulled
What are you doing? He's 92 years old!
Back, please.
Please, keep moving back. Thank you.
How can these people watch themselves in the mirror in the morning? How can these people watch their kids in the eyes? I can't understand, really.
I mean, what are they going to do with him?
Yeah, he's not even a threat in any way.
What, he can't be in. This is so barbaric. This is absolutely barbaric. Those police there, I was surprised because compared to the United States, I did feel that the UK police were far less hostile, in my opinion. But what they are doing here is unacceptable is an understatement.
Of course it's unacceptable, and they're expressing their right to free speech, they're protesting, and they're perfectly allowed to do that. And the weird thing is, they're doing it all right now. They're like arresting these people. This is truly...
And to think that this... I'm sorry, but to think that this is about COVID, you know... I could swear on this, a fucking virus. To think it's about a fucking virus is ridiculous. This is about taking people's rights away. The end goal here is so that only huge corporations exist. You can no longer have a small business. They want to remove your right to protest, to see your family. I know we were supposed to talk about Assange here, but just looking at this, like, let's be clear about what the hell is going on right now with this COVID restrictions. It's gotten completely out of control, and it needs to be resisted on every fucking level.
Okay, Rico, jump on that.
Sorry guys. You lose hope watching this.
Hey, you have your audio mixed with your thing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, audio's gone. All these knobs.
Hey, so Taylor just mentioned the COVID restrictions being about something very different than just a disease. I thought maybe you want to jump on that.
Not about the disease. We know it's not about... Oh, Taylor, I was in court yesterday. Not myself, but being a reporter. The Netherlands is denying Dutch citizens entry to our country, or rather entry to an airplane flying to our country, unless you can show a negative PCR test result. Now, at the same time, Dutch state acknowledges that a corona test is not a diagnostic tool, and Dutch state acknowledges that it pretty much doesn't say anything about the coronavirus. That's not the point. You have to show a negative test, otherwise you're not allowed in to board a plane. Now that's in violation of every international agreement that we have. You're always, as a citizen, allowed to return to your country. What the Netherlands just did is put Dutch people in exile if they can't or won't show that proof. And this is unprecedented. The word exile is being used again right now.
Yeah, it's so upsetting to see this happen in countries like the Netherlands, because and many others around the world, view the Netherlands as this very free country, and it's very disappointing to see this happening even in your country, and this needs to be resisted because this is a game of how far can we get, how much can we get away with, how far can we go with this. That's what this is all about. It has to be resisted, and that is really a shame that you have to take this PCR test when you're right. The PCR test is not a diagnostic tool. The creator of the PCR test, Carrie Mullis, who unfortunately died in August of 2019, shortly before COVID was in the media. And no, I'm not suggesting that there's anything suspicious to that, but unfortunately we do not have his voice right now to talk about what this test is meant for. But he said that it's not meant to diagnose any virus, and he also went on to say that people like Dr. Fauci and these administrative public health figures do not have the public's interest at heart. They do not, and they are establishment tools and hacks, and that needs to I wish this was more mainstream, but it's like so unacceptable to speak out against this, and it should be acceptable.
Yeah, I think that has to do with the whole fear campaign that's being done against journalists right now, and Assange is a good example of that. That independent journalists or critical journalists are being silenced with both with fear campaigns but also with censorship and losing their jobs and everything over these things. And even though they're credible journalists and they have a good career, they're being silenced by those news.
Well, even independent media like the Free Thought Project, The Mind Unleashed, Activist Post, all of us in the alternative media, they have been pushing against us for the past couple of years and taking away our ad revenue, taking away any form of payment that we can get. PayPal froze multiple, I'm not going to say which outlets, but I'll just say they froze multiple outlets' accounts so they can't pay their writers, and they're forcing us to move into crypto to pay for pay writers. So they're literally pushing people out in the alternative media and going after journalists in general. The Trump administration, besides Assange, there's now another journalist, I can't remember his name, that's facing the Espionage Act. They just charged another journalist under the Espionage Act. That's two journalists that are charged under the Espionage Act. Fucking insanity. In history, there's never been one journalist charged under the Espionage Act besides Assange. And now we have two. So, we're witnessing a pushback against all forms of independent media. And that's scary as hell.
Well, we've been dealing with that for some time, but now with the whole COVID thing and them being obsessed with locking everything down and putting us all in some kind of global lockdown situation there, it suddenly goes wild. Like everyone is being censored.
Well, I mean, fuck the global lockdown. They're putting everybody in an information bubble and saying we can't talk about this or we can't talk about that, even though it's important for the public discussion. In essence, of you can't talk about vaccines and you can't talk about the COVID vaccine possibly being harmful. Even if there are cases out there that, that people are being harmed from this. And there will be cases out there of people being harmed from this because every single vaccine in history has had adverse side effects for some people. Like one vaccine does not fit all people. Everybody's body chemistry is different. And there's adverse side effects that do happen. So, I mean, it's absolutely insanity where we are going from the push back against independent media to social media censoring everybody and saying what we can and can't talk about to to these COVID restrictions and everything that they're pushing on it. We are entering a society that I think that even George Orwell didn't think was possible. Like this is fucking nuts.
Yeah, I was reading now from Glenn Greenwald on Twitter. He's saying there are no charges pending against Julian Assange in the UK. A UK judge denied the USA request to extradite him, the only place where charges are pending. Despite this, the judge just ruled he must remain imprisoned in a COVID-ridden high-security prison while US appeals. This shows how authoritarian the British judiciary is. The only thing that USA cares about is keeping Assange in a cage, silenced and disappeared. This gives them the best of all worlds. He stays in prison with no need to prove he is guilty of anything. That's despotic.
Okay. I'm still shocked by Eric and Jill being arrested.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that pisses me off. The 92-year-old guy is being beat up by cops. That pisses me the fuck off.
It pisses me off too.
I don't even know the guy.
Yeah.
I just hear the the audio and everything, and I mean that just pisses me off. Like for protesting, you're going to beat up a guy who's 92 years old. Oh Jesus!
no. This is a fear campaign. That's why they're doing it. They don't care about him or anyone else. They're not a threat to them. This is about a fear campaign to all of us. They want us to see this.
Well, yeah, and how could you say that they care? Well, I'm not saying you're saying that, but how could anybody argue that this is about a virus and that they care about our health so much that they're going to place all these restrictions in, yet they literally terrorize a 92-year-old peaceful protester? I don't know how they can live with themselves.
Well, look, Taylor, I said it before too on air. Like, if they cared about our health, there are more car accidents every day. They would close down all the roads. They don't do that. Yeah. So that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Mohamed Almazi just tweeted, police are being very heavy-handed and threatening anyone without a press card with arrest if they don't leave the area immediately.
God. I'm curious if they do this at other protests. I wonder if they're just singling out Assange, or at least being more restrictive with the pro-Assange protests and lockdown protests.
Well, what they're going to blame it on is they're going to blame it on the fact, I believe, that the UK just entered into a lockdown. I'm pretty sure the UK just entered into a lockdown a few days ago. But, I mean, that's what they're going to blame it on. It's just a scapegoat at this point. And like, I firmly believe personally that this virus is real. I've had people die from it, who I've known. But the way that there's things being implemented, it's restricting people's rights. And those restrictions are going to remain for years and years to come. It has nothing that these restrictions, they're not going to go away. So.
Okay, but look, the virus being real or not real, let's keep that in the middle, just not to have this stream deleted today by these new fascists. But clearly the lockdown measures are not going to, they don't solve anything for us. Taylor, you have to leave in a few minutes. Is there anything else you want to say? Like, what do you think is going to happen now? What can we expect now?
One thing that was interesting was during this hearing earlier today, Claire Dobbin, who was representing the prosecution or the U.S. government, she was trying to make her case for appeal. And the judge actually told her, you do not need to go into depth as to why you are appealing. I recognize you have the right to do so, but this is not appropriate at a bail hearing. So what that tells me is that the U.S. is, in the prosecution, are really, really hyper-focused on this appeal, and that they are already putting a lot of effort and time into making sure that it's successful. And that does concern me quite a bit. And I worry about how long this is going to go on. and how much longer Assange could remain in prison. It is very concerning. So they do have, like I said in the chat, they have 14 days to make their appeal, and they're already on it. And so we can expect an appeal, I think, to happen unless it's denied or unless Trump pardons Assange. I don't know if that's going to happen. I know there's been a lot of push for that. Or if the DOJ drops the charges. That's the best scenario, in my opinion. Drop these charges.
Yeah, because that head prosecutor said that he wasn't sure that the next administration would continue with the charges. He said he would be leaving office soon and there would be a replacement, and he wasn't sure if that person would do the same thing, right?
I was reading John Pilger, and this moment he just tweeted that Judge Bareitzer has refused to grant Julian Assange bail, even though she acknowledged his extreme suffering in prison. Such is the queen of cruelty. But there is an informed hint from Washington that Biden may not pursue an appeal to the UK High Court, where Julian will win.
Okay.
Possible. I was just going to say, Trump said that he wanted to go out with a bang, essentially. At one of his rallies recently, he was kind of saying how he's going to declassify everything, and he was saying a lot of different information. So it is possible that he might give, in spite of the government, right? It is possible that Trump might do that, going out. He's very unpredictable, as we've seen the past 4 years. So, I mean, anything is possible.
Hey, I just okay. So Taylor jumped out. I just want to thank her for being on air with us. I know she's very busy with covering all of these things, and it's very much appreciated. We received a live update from her, and thanks for taking your time with us.
Thank you, Taylor, for coming.
She already jumped out, but I had to thank her anyway. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get in touch with some of the guys there in London, on Team Assange London, but at the moment I'm not receiving answer because I'm super worried about what's going on over there, since they are arresting a lot of supporters and activists. So I was trying to get in touch with some of them. If some of you guys have some update, just let know. I'm super worried at the moment, because to see Eric in those conditions and Jill before him has been really very cruel.
Let's remember, they're doing it for their health, right? They're beating up a 92-year-old guy for his health. I mean,
where are the human rights, really? Where are our rights? Our basic rights are gone, really.
A 92-year-old guy is out there protesting, standing up for his rights, and standing up for journalism, and their response is to beat the guy up.
Eric is 92, but he was a very, very strong man. He was in the Human Shield in Iraq, if I'm not wrong. So he have a very a life full of very important events as an activist. So I'm sure 100% that Eric will be not scared and intimidated by all of this. It's cruel to us to see happening all these kind of things, because as we said, it's like they are deleting one by one every single rights of human beings, and under our own eyes. And this is what is really incredible. But they are not going to intimidate us, not at all.
I mean, for me, it's not about intimidation. It's the fact that, you know, they're beating on somebody's possible grandfather or father, right? And on top of that, the guy's 92 years old. You could easily cause permanent damage to him for the rest of his fucking life just by, treating him roughly. I mean, and that just blows my mind.
Okay, so to everyone listening, the bail is denied, so this is going to be another few years of fighting, if I'm correct. We are going to have to fight for more years for the freedom of Assange. And okay, I can't say we're not ready. I mean, we've been preparing for this again, so we didn't even expect the judge to rule in our favor on Monday. So yeah, we'll just carry on again, right? And until he walks free. So yeah. Jump on the hashtags Assange. We are all Assange, free Assange. And spread the truth. What else can we do for now? Probably more protests will be organized soon and more actions, so yeah. Did we really expect anything better from these new fascists? I really didn't.
No, but I mean, like, the comments that the judge made, it made it seem like she was on Julian's side and wasn't going to flinch, and then comes out of nowhere. I mean, the decision. I mean, it's just shocking.
Every time I see scene like this, like Eric arrested before, and to add to the unjust result of this day about the outcome of Assange case, it just make me want to fight more and more every day. That's the only consequence and I think it's the same for every activist that care about free press, human rights, and freedom of speech.
Yeah, it's disgusting, honestly. It's a disgusting situation. I mean, for anyone who values free press and free speech, this is one of the worst things ever.
Yeah, just reading on Twitter, 10 cops to arrest frail 92 years old Eric. Cops arrested him for not wearing a mask and forcefully arrested him. 10 big fat cops for 192 years old frail man that was defending human rights throughout all his life. Shame on you, Sadiq Khan, this tweet saying. You are a monster, they say. It's true. I totally agree with this. They can continue to make the makeup in London about UK, about how they develop, about how they are a modern democracy. This is all bullshit. I'm sorry, guys, for the words, but this is just bullshit. They're just the makeup for the media mainstream to show the world.
I mean, I've dropped the
nothing
times this whole entire stream, so I mean, go for it.
Yeah, really, there is nothing real about what they show, and attested physically being there until September. There is nothing true about the how they appear on the other nation and the other countries, how the people have the perception of UK is totally wrong. There is a police state there. I have to advise many also of my friends, not inside activism world, but that maybe is no more the good time to live there, to have a career in that country, because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous place. I consider UK in this moment one of the most dangerous places in the world.
Yeah.
And that's make me worry about all the guys doing activism there that have been arrested, and also the other that's still there. Is dangerous, and I'm with them. We all are with them, because it's really a very difficult moment to be in London when you are a person that care for all his life about human rights and you fight for your life for freedom of speech and things. In this moment is the most dangerous time ever in the history to be in London and caring about human rights.
Yeah, and it's incredible that this case is showing the decreasing of not just journalism rights but human rights in general. Um, it's incredible the way that the police are treating protesters. Like, I mean, here in the U.S., we have police treating counter protesters against police brutality. Um, they're brutal against them, right? But I mean, when it comes to human rights issues and stuff like that, you would think that the police wouldn't be that brutal. But I guess that's totally proven wrong. It doesn't matter what you're protesting against. If the police want you to leave the area, they will use violent force against you. And that's what that's just saying. I mean, loud and clear.
Yeah, but I think even if we are very shocked by what we have seen, we all that are inside activism of this kind from many, many years, I think is everything that we expect from those countries. Because they spend so much time suppressing the freedom of speech and controlling everybody to make sure that the people is so brainwashed that they are up to the point when the king is naked, but the people are blind, so the king can go around naked. So, and this is incredible, because as they say, they use a very old strategy that in Latin they say panem et circensem. That is, it means you give the people the bread and something to have fun with. And you can get out of everything, because they are happy, they're watching football, they're watching stupid TV shows. And in the meantime, you can beat a 92 years old man in front of the world, and the world still be blind.
We got that clip, Rico, or is it still rendering?
Give me, do me a 30-second countdown. It's almost there, yeah?
Okay. All good. I was just curious.
On the percentages, so it's 90% completed, 91% completed.
Did anybody see if there's a clip of Eric being arrested, and if we could play that?
I put that in there as well.
Great, Rico.
Nice, great, because that's something that everybody needs to see, because that's incredibly shocking.
Kevin is tweeting that the judge's decision against bailing Assange only fuels the theory that this prosecution is about keeping a publisher who the US government despises tied up in a limbo, so he cannot effectively challenge them ever again. That's what is their objective, their target.
Okay, we're rendering a clip of Kristin Ravsen giving a speech, and let's see if we can get the one of Eric being arrested on air too. Just for the record, so we have this stored for later on. Have to imagine the guy is 92 and he's been there every day protesting for free Assange. When I was in London myself, I met him too, and I talked with him a few times and walked with him back when he went back home. And he is a really active, determined. And imagine he's 92, right? And this is not okay. 10 cops.
But they tried also during December picketing at Piccadilly Circus. The guys always are there on Sunday, if I remember well, or Saturday. And they tried already to arrest people, to harass the supporters, Assange supporters. They tried already to arrest Eric. Gordon Dimmack just tweeted, Eric, 92 years old, has just been arrested. Police have told independent media they have to leave or be arrested. CNN and others are fine.
That just highlights exactly what I said earlier. They are pushing out independent media for big mainstream media.
Yes. They
And that should scare every fucking person, because mainstream media is statist media. They are owned by the state. They answer to the state. They will not report certain things. They have to answer to editors. Independent media does not have to answer to an editorial board before publishing a story. Mainstream media does.
All of these, the only point of all of these is they want to suppress the truth. Since day one, when WikiLeaks started to release the leaks and all the rest, their principal objective was just kill those guys, just stop them to publish the truth. And from there until now, they keep doing exactly the same things with no shame in front of the people, in front of the public. This is shocking, is incredible.
Are you guys taking in the clips?
Yeah, it's, downloading. I have it on limited speed downloading. I don't want to interrupt the stream, so. But it'll be done almost, and then broadcasting it. Yeah, I'm a little in shock, guys. It is a little too much.
The two clips, one that you can put on Twitter, 2 minutes 20. The other one is a little longer that you can put in the show.
I was tired as fuck up until the point where, the decision was made, and then this whole arrest situation. I mean, I'm awake now. I'm wide awake.
Okay, guys, Rico, I'm going to download that little clip from Twitter you posted too. Doing that one first of Eric being arrested.
It's in there. So you got that clip for Twitter, and you got a slightly longer one in the same download.
Okay.
By the way, yes, we're assisting live the suppression of independent journalism from UK. It's in front of our eyes.
Okay.